This past weekend, I uploaded a video explaining what I've been going through these last few months. So if you'd like to know more, it's still on my channel and it will give you some, if not most of your answers of where I've been. But for now, it's time for me to get back on track with my content and finally say, hi,
Boss, you're back!
Uh-oh.
I'm so happy.
Ow.
Right here.
Hi, Faceless here, and what we have is the 17th entry of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Jesus, 17th? Oy vey. Thor Ragnarok. In this third installment of Thor, we find our hero searching for his father after it's been revealed that Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston, has disguised himself as Odin. Apparently, good old Loki left Odin somewhere on Earth. With the help of Doctor Strange, both Thor and Loki find Odin, only to lose him to the great heavens above, which in turn releases the goddess of death, played by Cate Blanchett. She wants to take her rightful place in full force as the new queen of Asgard. Of course, this doesn't fly with Thor, and it starts a little civilly rivalry. Yeah, she's basically Odin's eldest daughter. During the fight, Thor gets blasted into some Junkion planet ruled by the Grand Master, played by Jeff Goldblum. Thor is captured and forced to be a contender in the Gladiator games, where at this point, if you've seen the trailers, we meet up with the Hulk, who this time around has improved in his communication skills.
Hulk like raging fire, Thor like smoldering fire.
Somewhat. For the rest of the film, Thor has to convince the Hulk, Loki, and Valkyrie, played by Tessa Thompson, to help defeat Hela and save Asgard. And that's pretty much the plot of this film. It's simple, but it's a fun movie. Although Thor isn't one of my favorites when it comes to the MCU, he's likable enough for me to enjoy. Now, I'll admit, the first movie is one of my favorites, even though the plot was so-so. However, it won me over with the comedy of the fish out of water scenario. As for the second film, I didn't care for it too much to see it more than once. I just felt like it was a filler movie on the overall cinematic universe. But this time around, they really lessen on the drama and focus more on the comedy. I mean, let's face it, Thor, by all accounts, is a funny character. Even in his own comics, he seems somewhat naive and kinda wacky. And the writers pretty much said, let's just play off on the funny aspect of him and have fun with this movie. For the first part of the film, the pacing was great, but somewhere in the middle, it seemed to have slowed down where I felt a little impatient. It does pick up by the end of the film, but by that time I was ready to call it a night. The visuals and the special effects are good and colorful, if I must say. Clearly, this was heavily inspired by the Guardians of the Galaxy films. The movie did have its serious moments where it needed, but the filmmakers did a good job finding the right formula or the right balance. The comedy was great when it needed to be, but if I had one complaint, the jokes here were kinda predictable. I'd say about 9 times out of 10, I knew where the punchline was going. I'm not saying it's bad, I mean I did laugh, but probably not as hard as I should have. The chemistry between Thor and the Hulk was good and had its funny moments. But the real moments that mattered in the film was the relationship between Thor and Loki. They made it to where you believe that these two have a history as brothers and added an element that was really welcoming. Jeff Goldblum as the Grand Master was a bit creepy, but you have to admit, old Jeff does creepy very well, and this role was perfect for him. Cate Blanchett as the main baddie had her moments where you saw that she was a badass fighter. But overall, her character was somewhat one-dimensional, and it is a recurring problem with most of the villains in the MCU. Folks, I did enjoy this film, but at the end, the film felt like a funny filler to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so my final rating is a C+. Now, to remind you, a C rating isn't bad at all. Hell, I would take the time to watch it again, unlike Thor Dark World. Well, this wraps up this episode. If you have any thoughts or comments about the film, please leave a comment below. But until then, this is Faceless, signing...
Boss, I'm so happy you're back!
Oh no.
Yay!
Yep, that's my spleen.
Right here. peanut butter disaster.